So you're ready to open up commissions and naturally you're gonna do some research because you want the best information. But doesn't all that information just feel overwhelming? But worse, what if it's just a waste of your time? Welcome to Art Mentor, my name is Sean, and would you like to know the most popular art commission advice you've heard that's actually totally toxic and worthless for your time? Because take it from somebody that's been freelancing for over a decade so that you don't have to learn things the hard way. And would you like to save yourself some time and heartbreak? Because I wish I knew this. To start this off, how would y'all like to know the number one thing that's gonna waste your time? So whenever you're gonna get exposed to any type of art commissions advice, do you know what the most popular thing that most people are gonna say they need? Or what's the number one thing that most people say that they think that they're going to need in order to start it? And it's the same thing I fell victim to. Most art commission advice is gonna start with, you need to grow a social media following. Have you been told this, friend? Have you been told that you need to have a certain number of followers, there's a certain number that you need to hit, or there's a certain number of interactions you need to get every single day? And I just wanna try and understand this because I really couldn't wrap my mind around this when I first started out here, y'all. But why are we equating a good artist who is valuable with social media fame? Because do you know any artists online right now who are actually really amazing but don't have that great of a following? Why are we conflating popularity with proficiency? That just doesn't really seem to align, and that's when I came to the conclusion that that's actually completely false. So if you're somebody who's currently operating under the guise that you think that you need a certain number or a certain amount of notoriety online in order to get clients, I just wanted to let you know, friend, you absolutely don't. Listen, I started my art commission journey when I had less than 100 followers on DeviantArt. I had way less than 500 followers on Instagram. In fact, I still have around 500 followers on Instagram, and yet I still get consistent work, and I still get competitive wages, and I still keep on getting better clients. So this is absolutely not a prerequisite for you to start. And here's why too, is that there's absolutely no guarantee that that's ever going to happen for you. There's absolutely no perfect formula for you to actually get the people from online to translate into a buying customer. And do you actually think that every single lurker online, some teenager that's like 12, 13 years old is gonna wanna pay hundreds of dollars for your artworks eventually? Because I can guarantee you this, they won't. And then statistically, are you aware of the fact that like less than 20% of all your posts are ever gonna be seen by every single person that even follows you online? So just following that logic, how is that supposed to bring you success? Instead, what if there are better methods that you should know about that will actually work? And that's what I'm all about teaching you, by the way. So let me just put you at ease, friend. You don't need a following. Don't follow that advice. What will happen is that you're gonna feel totally dejected and you're gonna feel like you're a failure, and then you're gonna give up and you're gonna think that it's something that is just far beyond your realm. And to be honest, it is, because if that's your priority, then you kind of set yourself up for failure. See how that works? Now, starting out, you know that you're unknown, you know that you don't have experience, and you know that generally your body of work isn't as impressive as it's going to be within like 2 to 5 years, right? And then once you start to put yourself out there, you're gonna have to tackle this, and you're gonna have to tackle pricing. And I wanna let you know why starting low on my pricing almost made me give up and almost made me hate art altogether. So when I first started out, y'all, I used to go ahead and put myself out there for about $35 to $40 per commission. And I used to work on those for about 8 to 10 hours, and I used to really throw myself into it. And I gotta let you know this, that was not a victory for me, and I didn't feel great about it. I felt really elated at the initial step when somebody actually paid me. Once I got that PayPal notification that I've got money, boom, I felt great. But then going through it, man, when you're working for 10 hours for $40 and you're making like, honestly, like child labor pricing, like that feels like crap. That feels terrible. And at the end of the day, I realized this, is that if you're gonna offer yourself at stupidly low pricing, then two things are certain. You're actually prioritizing your validation over your value. So what I mean by that is that actually what you want isn't even money, isn't even wealth, friend. What you actually want is just somebody to kind of give you just this economic pat on the back to say, hey, look, I value you. And I get that, that's necessary, okay? Number two is that this also sets you up to work with the absolute worst, most rotten, bottom of the barrel clients, and you're also therefore going to compete against the immoral people that are using AI to try and promote themselves, because that is kind of the cesspool that they swim in. win, okay? And you don't want to be in either of those spots. So listen, if you think that you need to start ridiculously low, I want to just oppose this. No, friend. You can easily start your pricing anywhere from $50 to $150, and that is where I recommend that you start. If you don't feel like you're ready for that one, okay, I've got some advice for you on that coming too. Here's the best thing. If you're feeling like you can't hit that, I give you permission. Go ahead and take one or two cheapos, but then you got to commit to upping your rate because you know that you are valuable to the market and you do have that validation that people will buy your artwork, okay? All you need to do is just follow good advice and you're gonna get there. And it's not that hard because I've been helping people do it for years. And I'm advising you on this because I want more of us to succeed and I want more of us to make it long-term and I want more of us to be able to share their wealth of knowledge. Wouldn't that be great? Now, when I first started off, I came up with this very basic question of like, hey, look, okay, I need to figure out what I want to do or what I should offer. And then I would look online, I'd be like, oh, cool, well, that looks really great. Or maybe I should do fan art, or like, that seems like a really popular style, or that seems like a really popular genre, or I should do this, or I should do that. Have you ever thought about this too? And does that kind of stress you out? Like, do you think that maybe what you're interested in is not that valuable? Well, I just want to let you know this because I kind of came to this realization because when I switched my style and genre completely over the course of my first 2 years of freelancing, I came to this realization is that trend chasing is a complete waste of time. There is nothing that you can do starting out that is going to guarantee your success. And you probably have heard from people who honestly don't even know what they're talking about that much. And they're gonna say things like, oh, look, well, you can only make a living off of not safe for work or for furry artwork. I'm gonna be here and stand in hard opposition of that. No, that's absolutely not true. How do I know that? Because I know myself and plenty of other illustrators that get paid a lot more than the people that are currently doing those things. And I know for a fact that there are plenty of people that do make it and do start out doing just fine with other styles and other genres than that. So no, friend, there's absolutely nothing that you have to do. And you've probably heard this too, well, maybe you should start out by doing fan art. No, you should not start out by doing fan art because if that's not even what you like to do, you're just gonna come off like a fraud. You're gonna feel, it's gonna come off like you're a phony. It's gonna come off like you're just inauthentically in it just for the money. And I just wanna be real with you. If you're just in art commissions just for the money, there are more lucrative things you can do in the world than this. But if you're in this for both passion and a paycheck, this is the place for you, friend. So don't think that you have to conform to one certain thing in order to be successful because that's not the case. My biggest piece of advice to you and everybody watching this is this: never misalign your interests for what you think is going to be popular. You should only ever offer what you really like because you want to attract the right client to you. How's that sound? Now, one thing that I really want to hit y'all with is something that I learned and it's something that I experienced and why I wish I started at least a couple years earlier on my art commissions journey because I would be that much better, okay? So a lot of us, when we're first starting, we're gonna doubt everything about this entire process. Maybe you're not gonna get clients. Maybe no one's gonna like your artwork. Maybe your artwork's not good enough. Do you ever feel that too? Do you feel that twinge of insecurity right here when you're like, man, I don't know if I'm good enough, okay? And then therefore, you're gonna come up with this brilliant idea. You're gonna say, well, I need to wait until my skills are better. I need to wait until I'm at the right level. I need to wait until I'm at my perfect zone. But here's what I wanna let you know, friend, because I learned this one a little bit too late. But if you're waiting until the perfect moment, by the time that perfect moment comes, you will have waited too long, okay? And if you're failing to launch strictly because you're afraid, well then that's really the issue. It isn't that your skills aren't up to par, it's that you think that you're not up to par, okay? So to combat this, here's what I'll let you know. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Right now is the perfect moment, okay? And you're probably thinking, well, like, Sean, I still don't think that I'm good enough. Okay, so let's run this scenario. So you put yourself up out there, you follow some advice that actually works, you follow maybe some of the stuff that I advise you on my channel, and then nothing, total crickets, okay? Here's what I wanna recommend to you. First off, you can't assess if anything works or doesn't work if you don't commit to it consistently for 3 to 6 months. Anytime lower than that, you're honestly just not committed to it, and definitely no, you're not gonna be successful with it, okay? Number 2 is that if you don't attain any level of success, if you don't even gain a single client, then that's good feedback. To be real with you, it took me 6 months to get my first client when I was first starting out, okay? And throughout that process, you have one of two options. Number one is that you can just give up and give into despair and feel like you're worthless and then look back and be like, oh God, my mom and dad were so right. But the other version of this is that you look at that and say, okay, what do I need to do? What are some new examples I need to make? How do I focus myself in? How do I price myself better? How do I advertise myself better? What's a better strategy for this, okay? Who has better advice to do this better? If you look at it that way, that's gonna bring you to another level of success, because when you're asking the right questions, you're gonna get the right answers. And just to exemplify this, and just to let you know, y'all, you're gonna grow as your business grows. So just to show you, check this out right here. These are my first ever art commissions. They're terrible to me now. Look at my newest ones right here, okay? Obviously, over the years, my proficiency has gone up and my pricing has dramatically increased, okay? Like, just to be honest too, back when I first started out here, I used to only ask for $35 to $40. And nowadays, I fetch my median price is somewhere between $500 and $1,000. So you can do that too, and you can build yourself into that, but don't think that you have to be perfect right at the outset, because the perfect time to start is right now and not 5 years from now, okay? Now, let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest boogeyman out there for the art commission world? If you're thinking about freelancing, what is the number one thing that you think you need to avoid? And listen, I used to have this big time fear too, as if this was somehow gonna be my downfall and demise as a freelancer. And it's probably this. Are you afraid of getting scammed? Are you afraid of getting taken advantage of? Or here's another gem. Are you afraid of PayPal? Like, of all the things that you actually have to be nervous about and you actually have to set yourself up for and avoid not doing, why is PayPal and scams the number one thing that you're gonna be afraid of? Because I used to be nervous about this too, and I used to hear all these stories about these people getting chargebacks. Like, are you afraid of chargebacks too? Well, let me just put you at ease, friend. I've been using PayPal for well over a decade here with absolutely zero issues with it. But specifically when it comes to PayPal, here's what you need to know. If you're gonna do not safe for work artwork, no, you absolutely can't use PayPal. It's a violation of the terms of service. Also, when it comes to PayPal, if you are using it like it is just like a separate bank where you don't normally use PayPal for anything else, that's a bad call. So what I generally recommend is that when you get money in, push the money right out, okay? And then also too, if you're gonna start up a business, no, you don't need to just jump right into a PayPal business account. I personally have been using a PayPal personal account for, again, over a decade. I have a licensed LLC and I have an established art business. This is absolutely not necessary for you either. So if you're still sending people an invoice, let me show you a better system right here. This is how I've been doing it for years, okay? Listen, when you go into your PayPal account, click on the payments tab and then click on requests. And then you're gonna scroll down to the bottom and you're gonna see this link right here that says share your link. When you click on that, all you need to do is copy it and then boom, you can paste it right into any platform that you would like to, any message, any DM, and Bob's your uncle. It's easy. As long as the person knows how much they're supposed to pay you, you got it. And then they know very minimal about it. And it's totally safe. It's totally secure. You don't have to worry about any of the stress. Now listen, if you're also afraid of just using any other platform, I just want to let you know this, friend, too. You gotta be okay with this happening in order to start. Now, if you're afraid of scams, here's my number one advice from you. You have lousy systems in place, or you just don't have proper systems in place in order to avoid getting scammed. Like, how are you qualifying your clients? What types of jobs are you taking? This is the stuff I'm gonna talk to you about in this video, by the way, so that you're not in the dark about it. But if you're afraid of PayPal, if you're afraid of scams, I wanna let you know this. This is a super marginal version of what the entire community of freelancers are actually struggling with. And the vast majority of us are doing just fine and perfect with it, so long as you're not violating any of the things that I recommended against you. How's that sound? Make you feel better? Now, when I was just starting, I gotta let you know, like, I felt so overwhelmed because when I went through all the information that I would see from big time creators and I would read about, man, it just seemed like there's so much that you had to do at the get-go just so that you can get set up, just before you could even start to try and attract clients. And have you ever felt like this too? And what I'm specifically talking about is that everybody will be like, oh man, you need to make your commission sheet, you need to make your terms of service, you gotta make your contract. And it just seems like, whoa, how do I do all that? I just wanna get some clients up in here. Is that really necessary? Well, contrary to all that, what if I told you that's actually just a big, huge waste of your time? What if that's actually not what you should be doing first? And let me just ask you this. Do you think that anybody actually buys you for your terms of service? Do you think anybody actually reads through your whole contract? Because I'm going to tell you from a long time of experience, no, that's absolutely not necessary, friend, okay? So if that's what is holding you back, here's what I want to let you know. It's just a glorified stall tactic. So here's what I want to let you know. First off, you can actually just go ahead and start by, imagine this, people are gonna buy your artwork. Have great examples. If you don't know what type of examples, I'm gonna coach you through that in this video today. And then aside from that, you can build your terms of service, you can build your contract as you're going, as needed, as requested. But just to be honest, over the course of 10 years, I've been asked for terms of service twice. I've been asked for a contract 3 times, okay? Outside of that, it's really not helped me at all. And you don't need to show it at every single time that you're doing this. And actually, just in case you didn't know this, friend, it's not even legal. So if you're not actually having that terms of service or that contract actually notarized, and it actually doesn't even stand up in court. It's just a gentleman's agreement if you want to think of it like that. So no, it actually won't help you. Another big thing I want to let you know is that commission sheets are a complete waste of your time, okay? 2 things that you need to know about. Number 1 is that it's going to cheapen the client that you're going to be able to get, because you're going to get people that are going to buy your pricing and not your artwork. And then number 2, this is an antiquated method that people used to use about a decade ago, and it still wasn't going that well then because people were only buying people based on pricing then, and there are much better ways to do that. Now, if you'd like to learn how to do a terms of service or contract the right way, I've got some links down below in the video for you, but make sure that you know this other stuff before you go ahead and watch that. So when I was first starting out and I would watch all this art commission advice and I would take it all in and I would write down my notes and I would start to gather a plan, I would inevitably watch what these big time creators are saying. And at the same time, I would kind of feel like, but what are they not telling me? Do you ever feel like sometimes a lot of creators, especially on YouTube, you just get the sense that they're holding back. Like they're not telling you the whole story. And have you ever wondered to yourself, why is that? Why do they do that? Why is that? Well, I need to let you know this as somebody that's both been a content creator and somebody that's been a freelancer for a long time. I've come to this conclusion, is that the majority of creators who are going to give you art commission advice are only going to give you art commission advice to the point that they're comfortable with, because not that they have ill intention, but because they don't want you to be their competition. Because if they tell you everything, then therefore you are going to be their adversary. And this is just one thing that when I started my channel, I really wanted to oppose. There's a lot of scared tactics. That's why. It's because they don't want to divulge everything so that you're not getting everything taken from them. For me though, here's what I think. I think that we all need to work to share as much as possible so that we all do as well as possible and we raise the bar as much as possible. Wouldn't that be so much better? Because just to be real, if you're getting more clients and you're getting more money, then that's going to do well for everybody. And then the next generation coming into this is going to start at a higher level than what you currently started at. And then they're going to feel good. And then we're going to change the entire scope and atmosphere of everything. To me, that seems like a much more empowering version than just keeping everything to myself. And that's why I really enjoy making this content like I do. And hey, look, if you're enjoying this too, then please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button, because I know that about 60% of you come back week to week and y'all forget to hit those. So if you're enjoying this, please make sure that you're there, because I'm there to help support you along the way and be totally real with you. Now, when I was just starting out, I had the same hopes, visions, and dreams as you. And I was like, man, I've got so many ideas and I've got so many things I like to do. And I like to do this and I like to do that. And I like to do this style and that style too. And I like to make this genre and that genre and that genre, right? And you would probably love to take them all. In fact, if somebody came to you and wanted you to do all of those, you'd be like, heck yeah, I'm on board, baby, let's go, right? But I just want to let you know, y'all, you can't operate by being an artistic polygamist. You can't go forward by trying to spread your love across all of these. Because if you're trying to offer too many varied styles, too many varied genres, okay, then it's just not gonna work out for you, because you're not targeting the specific type of client that you actually wanna get or you will be able to get. Most artists think of themselves like a buffet. And hey, I love buffets as much as anyone else does, okay? But here's the problem. They're overwhelming. People don't know what they're going to expect. People don't know how the Chinese food versus the Italian food versus the Mexican food at the same buffet is all gonna taste, or which one's the best. They don't know which one to pick. And that's a scenario that you're also setting up for potential clients, is they're gonna look at different styles and different genres and be like, well, which version am I gonna get of you? You need to just buckle down on one thing. When you start off with just one style and one genre, you focus into the type of client that you want. And look, you can switch, okay? You can go ahead and conquer that one style, that one genre, and then you can build yourself to be able to do it in another direction. But here's what I always say is that you need sustained success in whatever style and genre that you want to do. And then you can go ahead and you can make it in another one too. You can open it up in another direction. Here's all you need to get started. Let me show you right here. You just need a headshot, you need a bust, and you need a full-bodied version of whatever you're trying to do. These can be characters, they could be monsters, they could be vehicles, but these are my recommendations. Have 3 examples, have them all be in a consistent style and genre, and boom, you're ready to go, because that's how I started it off, and I've recommended this for years, and it works 100%. So go ahead, cut everything down to one. And if you're confused on like, well, which one do I go with? Let me just ask you this. If you could imagine yourself only doing one thing for the next 5 to 10 years and you still enjoy the crap out of it, what would that be? There's your answer. How's that sound? Now, when I first started off, I did what I think most of you are going to do, which is that you're going to look to the biggest creators. You're going to look for the people that have the most views or the most seeming credibility, because obviously the people that have the loudest voices, that have the most views, that have the most followers, subscribers, they seem like they're probably the most credible source of information, don't you? Well, I used to have that philosophy too until I did this, and I'm going to encourage you to start to do the same. Have you ever looked up their stuff? Have you looked up what they're doing? And most importantly, have you ever looked up their pricing? Because as soon as I started to do this, I came to a horrific realization. I came to the realization that most of them charge incredibly cheap. Most of them are actually doing things that actually don't guarantee success, that actually don't bring any type of sustained success and progress onto them either. And just to be honest, I'm gonna be totally real with you. If you go ahead and you look at someone else's, if you look at another creator's artwork and their pricing specifically, and you see that they're only charging like $50, I wanna ask you this. Why do you want to follow that? Like, do you want to take wealth advice from somebody that makes $40,000 a year? Because I wouldn't. Do you want to take fitness advice from someone who's out of shape? I don't really want to either. So in the same vein of thought, I want you to know this, that you need to really vet the source of your information and just ask yourself this. What is the roof that I can hit based on this person's advice? Because if I'm going to follow the advice of somebody who at max or at regular can only get $50 to $75, that's the most that they're ever going to bring me to. If I follow their advice, that's the most that I can ever hope to achieve, okay? And just to let you know that your teacher can only bring you as far as they themselves have journeyed, okay? And therefore, it really is best for you, my friend, to really vet the source of information. You might be getting really rookie advice from people that aren't really in the space, because unfortunately the internet is really rich with information and really impoverished with actual wisdom, my friend, okay? And listen, like if you want to know anything about me, I'm a total open book. You can ask me down below, but really be certain that the person that you are going to take advice from is actually a credible source of information. Because I used to make that mistake, and I hope you don't. So when I was just starting out, man, I was so pumped, I was so enthused, just like you, okay? And you're probably thinking something like this, okay, look, I'm probably not gonna get the best person, I'm probably not gonna get exactly what I want, and I'm probably not gonna even get paid what I want, but hey, look, anything is better than nothing. Like, you're just excited to get out there. You're excited to get started. You're excited to start your career, and you're okay with putting in that grind a little bit so that you can eventually get to what you want, right? And then you're gonna tell yourself that you should just take whatever comes your way, regardless of what it is, regardless of who it's from, because that's eventually gonna get you there. But what if that's actually a terrible idea? What if that's actually a harmful idea? And have you ever thought, what if that actually makes you give up? In my observations and in my experience, that actually is what happens more than often. Did you know that the average lifespan of the average freelancer in the art commissions career is only 1 to 2 years? This is a main reason why is people following this bad philosophy. And I just want to ask you this. Do you want to start an art business, or do you want to keep art as a hobby? Because I'm not gonna put you down if you just want to keep it for fun and as a hobby. But if you want to start things as a business, no. This is not a philosophy that you can adopt. You cannot look for any little table scrap as some minor version of success and assume that that is going to get you to where you want to go. What is going to get you where you want to go, friend, is this. Very simply, it's the right client and the right job, because whatever job that you complete is going to attract the next client based on the last job that you completed, okay? And if you're doing a whole bunch of random crap, and again, it's not fitting into a consistent theme and a consistent style, then it's going to confuse people, and that's going to stop you from ever getting more jobs, and definitely stop you from doing a whole lot of other things like raising your pricing or building a sustainable business. And that's probably what you want, right? But listen, I learned this the hard way, because I used to take just whatever came my way, and at the end of the day, man, I used to look back and I'd be like, man, I don't even really like doing this. And I just want to ask you this, right? If you just want to take anything, then why not just do art for fun? If it doesn't matter to you, then just keep it as a personal hobby for you, and you don't have to make a business out of it. You don't have to be pressured into doing it. You can just keep art alive for yourself. But if you want to start art commissions as a legitimate business, then you have to start it with the mindset of a business owner. Have you ever thought about that? So nowadays, I see big YouTubers advertise all the times for these big art platforms, and then the new art platforms come out and they're plugging them and they're being sponsored by them. And I just want to let you know why signing up for every single art commission platform, every single art freelancing platform never got me anywhere, never got me clients. And honestly, I'm really happy for that, because I found way better ways that I want to tell you about. Because here's what you need to know. They look great on the surface. They look like they're a real great congregating place. They look like they're a marketplace that seems legitimate for you to go ahead and get clients and for you to get consistent work. But I need to let you know this harsh reality, friend, is that the more time that you spend on these, as I've exposed in my previous videos, is that they're actually just predatory websites. They're in the business of taking advantage of artists. They're in the business of not promoting you. And there's a big, massive culture on every single art platform of undercutting and underselling and really disrespectful practices. And that's why I need to let you know that if you're on any art commission platform, you need to get the heck off of it, okay? It's really not gonna help you. And look, if you're on this, I don't blame you, because I fell victim to the same thought process. I thought that I could trust said creator or said vlogger who is advertising it because it was trustworthy, right? And to them, I'm not putting them down. They probably thought it was a great idea too. But at the end of the day, I just need to let you know this, that none of those platforms are going to build any long-term type of success for you. And in fact, you're going to feel very defeated on them, just like I did and just like a lot of other people do. And what I want to let you know is that whenever you hear anybody plug any type of platform, I would totally avoid doing exactly what that person advised. Because if they're being sponsored by them, they're probably not using that platform. They're probably not having success with that platform. And, or if you looked at them on that platform like I advised you to, you'd realize that's probably not what you want for your artistic future either, friend. You getting cheapos all the time is not really the vision of what you want, is it? And you probably want this to build into something that can sustain you long term, am I right? So if you want that, friend, there are better ways to do that. Wouldn't you like to learn how? Now, can I tell you about the most obnoxious new advice that I hear all the time? And this certainly goes around a lot of Discord servers. Have you ever been advised to cold DM somebody? Have you ever been advised that the way that you get somebody on board to want to buy into your commissions is that you have to just send them some random message to some random person out there and try and get them to bite? Y'all, I just want to set this up for another scenario. Let's say that you're sitting down to dinner with your best friends or your family, or you're watching a great movie and you look at your phone and, oh, would you look at that? It's a random number that you don't recognize from some place in the US that you don't know anybody from. Are you gonna pick up that phone call? Heck no. Why is that? Because you know that they're a telemarketer, don't you, friend? So in the same vein of thought, you can't think that telemarketer tactics are going to work with art commissions. No, friend, it's stupid, it's obnoxious, it's annoying, it turns people off. Does it work? Sure, it does work sometimes, but just to be honest, You're trying to sell to people that don't want to buy. This is a very inefficient process that I want to give you a better version of that's actually going to get you clients, because here's what I'll let you know. You need to attract the right clients and not put yourself out there to everybody in the world and hope that 7 billion people want to buy your artwork, because just to be real, you probably don't want 7 billion different clients and 7 billion projects right now. You can't handle that, are you, friend? No, you're not Amazon. Are you? Is Jeff Bezos watching this? Now, are you ready to really get into art commissions, and would you like to know exactly what strategies work and what you need to do to set yourself up for actual success so that you can actually build a sustained art business, so you can actually build sustained wealth and then you can build your future with it? Well, I got an entire video right here. It's gonna let you know exactly what you need to do to get art clients. Follow this. It's a perfect guide for you, friend. And hey, if this helped you, please share it with somebody else. See you next time.